Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Now at 6 o'clock, 2 people are recovering from gunshot wounds after an altercation at a Lexington apartment complex overnight. We'll have the details coming up in a live report. Plus, a Jessamine County police officer speaks out after being shot nearly 2 years ago. And Big Blue Madness kicks off a new season for UK basketball. We have these stories and more, plus breaking news as it happens, coming up on WKYT this morning. Good Saturday morning to you. It is October 18th. I'm Whitney Wetzel.
And I'm Mike Linden. It is chilly outside, to say the least, so far this morning, Whitney.
A big difference from yesterday.
A big difference from yesterday. Friday was sunny. It was quite comfortable. Temperatures were back to normal, if not a little bit warmer than that. But as we get started for you this morning, temperatures are back down. Now, don't be deceived by that 57 that you're seeing over Lexington. The thermometer there at the airport is just running a bit warmer than as it should be. Temperatures are actually closer to what you're seeing there near Mount Sterling and near Richmond, between 50 and 54 rather than that 57, so don't be deceived by that temperature. But I'll be back a little bit later this morning for my full forecast, and here's what I'll be talking about. Of course, those chilly temperatures which should stick around, the spotty shower chance, and whether or not frost is possible Sunday morning. I'll be back in about 10 minutes.
All right, Mike, thanks. 2 people are in the hospital this morning after a late-night shooting in Lexington, and now investigators are searching for the person responsible. Let's go to WKYT's Mark Barber. He is live at the apartment complex where this all happened. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Whitney. Police say both a man and a woman were shot in the apartment complex behind me here on Winburn Drive, which is right across from Winburn Middle School. Now, investigators tell us they were shot during an argument around 10:45 last night. Officers say while they were at UK Hospital with a man who was hit in the leg, another gunshot victim came in. We're told the second person, a woman, was also shot in the leg. Trying to find the shooter, police tell us they started searching for a black SUV that may have been used. Investigators say when they stopped a black Dodge Durango on Waller Avenue, 2 men jumped out and ran. We're told police caught one, but they are still looking for the other man. Officers do believe they are connected to the shooting, but they tell us they are still looking for the shooter. Now, police say that this shooting happened about a block away from another shooting on McCullough Drive that killed a 19-year-old man yesterday. I'm told that these 2 cases are not connected. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. We are learning new information about a deadly shooting at a Lexington apartment complex. Lexington police have ruled the shooting a homicide. They say they found the victim dead Friday morning in an apartment complex along McCullough Drive in the Winburn neighborhood. We also found out that victim's name. WKYT's Garrett Weimer is tracking this investigation.
After a mid-morning shooting at this apartment complex.
And then just shortly after that, we received a call of a male subject down in the hallway bleeding.
We now know the victim is a Lexington teenager, 19-year-old Jeffrey Adams. Police say Adams was shot several times in what they're investigating as a homicide. That's why the coroner will not release where Adams was shot.
Whoever has done this knows where they shot him at, so that'll be a part of the police investigation that they'll be looking at.
Adams was pronounced dead at the scene here after a shooting that shook up some neighbors.
It scared me. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, it would scare anybody.
And it makes this mother of 3 want to move.
That's what we plan on doing. We can't live in something like this. I mean, not with kids.
Meanwhile, police are still looking for clues to help them find Adams' killer.
Very likely somebody saw somebody running from the scene, walking away quickly. That's the information that we need to be able to help solve this case.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
If you have any information, you're asked to call Lexington Police. You can find their number on WKYT.com. New this morning, Lexington Police are on the lookout for 2 men who they say robbed a pizza delivery man. It happened just before 11 o'clock on Red River Drive. Police say a delivery man was driving down Red River when a man walked out in front of his car and another walked up alongside with a gun. Police say the men demanded cash from the driver and then took off. Right now, police only have a limited description of those suspects. Also new this morning, police say a Lexington man was injured in a home invasion overnight. It happened around midnight on Alexandria Drive. Police say 2 men knocked on a man's door, forced their way in, assaulted the victim, and took some personal items from the home and then escaped on foot. Investigators described the suspects as black men in their 30s, between 5'8" and 6 feet tall. They were wearing black jackets at the time. We now know the name of a man killed in a crash in Scott County Friday afternoon. The crash happened along Cherry Blossom Way in Georgetown. The coroner says 27-year-old Edward Derrick Kraft of Georgetown was killed. The Scott County coroner says Kraft's truck crossed the center line and hit 2 other trucks. Another person was taken to UK hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Meanwhile, deputies say a Laurel County man accused of badly injuring a teenager in a crash has escaped home incarceration. The sheriff's office is looking for 47-year-old Terry Mullins. They say he left a home near London Friday afternoon. Last month, deputies say Mullins hit a 17-year-old cyclist with his van, but he didn't stop. That teen suffered serious injuries, but has since been released from the hospital. Mullins was on home incarceration, charged with assault, leaving the scene of an accident, and DUI. It was nearly 2 years ago tomorrow that someone shot a Nicholasville police officer as he patrolled a neighborhood. Police say a bulletproof vest saved Officer John Rainey's life when he was shot in 2012. He's since recovered, but police still haven't been able to track down his shooter. Police and the community say they want the shooter caught, and they're offering a lot of money for information that would lead them to an arrest.
But we feel like here in Nicholasville that we do the best job that we can, and that the community enjoys and wants us to be around and works well with us.
Police say the shooter will be charged with either first-degree assault or attempted murder of a police officer. A federal appeals court has weighed in on a Kentucky law banning campaign activity near polling places. A judge struck down that law, claiming it violated First Amendment speech rights. The Kentucky Attorney General and the Secretary of State's office has appealed. Yesterday, the appeals court ruled that the state could still ban campaign activity within 300 feet of polling places on public property, but the ruling will not allow the state to enforce that law on polling places on private property. Your time now is 6:07 on WKYT this morning. And new this morning, many UK fans have high expectations this season, and the ones we talked to at Big Blue Madness last night liked what they saw on the court. WKYT's Jerica Ensko has more.
This is the event that kicks off a new season of UK basketball. It's the event that fans camp out for and wait for year after year, Big Blue Madness. And even leaving, they're still full of excitement. Once you get inside Rupp Arena, it's a sea of blue, and you can expect a lot of dancing and singing.
That was my favorite part. I always like to come to see what he's going to perform.
And of course, some basketball. For UK fans who always go to Big Blue Madness, there's something special that stands out each year.
Everything, just because it's my first time here, so everything was exciting to me.
When they introduced them was the special part.
Most come out to see the freshmen introduced and watch the UK hoops and Cats play.
Especially getting to see all the new ones, those freshmen, and I'm impressed.
Now what's next? Since the season has officially begun, UK fans are only looking forward from here. National championship?
Yes! Final Four beat Duke, beat Louisville, beat North Carolina, Kansas, anybody in our way, we're going to knock them off.
Let's win a national championship.
So I'm looking forward to a great season for number 9.
24,000 in attendance, just about filled every seat in Rupp Arena, just like it does almost every year. At Rupp Arena, Jerica Ensko, WKYT.
And for more Big Blue coverage, just go to our website, WKYT.com.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Welcome back to WKYT this morning. Here is an update on our top stories. 2 people were shot during an altercation at a Lexington apartment complex late last night. Investigators have made 1 arrest in the case, but police say they're still looking for more suspects. President Obama has appointed a former White House official to be the person in charge of U.S. response to the Ebola virus. Ron Klain used to be chief of staff to Vice President Joe Biden. This comes after a passenger on a Carnival cruise ship has been placed in isolation. That passenger handled lab specimens from a Liberian man who died in Texas of Ebola. Doctors say she has not shown any signs of infection. Dozens gathered at an Indiana mosque Friday for Abdul Rahman Kasig, the American aid worker and Iraq war veteran who's being held hostage by ISIS. They say they hope the terrorist group will release him unharmed. Kasig was captured by ISIS last year while doing humanitarian work in war-torn Syria. Originally born Peter Kasig, he converted to Islam while in the Middle East. Kasig is the latest Western hostage to be threatened by ISIS. Many of the issues surrounding last week's debate have been playing out during commercial breaks for the past few months. WKYT's Miranda Combs sat down with a political analyst to examine the ads and find out if they work.
Right now, the airwaves are saturated. Not much chance of making it through a commercial break without seeing this woman.
I'm Allison Lundergan Grimes.
Or this man.
We turn to Senator Mitch McConnell.
They're hoping that one of these messages will stick, that one of these messages will be the one that takes that voter who's undecided, who's sitting on the fence, and brings them into their camp.
Sam Youngman, political reporter for the Lexington Herald-Leader, says the race between Democrat Allison Lundergan Grimes and Republican Mitch McConnell is up to about $70 million in spending. And he says the majority of that money is going straight to the TV.
What we're seeing right now is just sort of a Hail Mary, get every one of these messages out, get them in the most effective ads you can of, debatable accuracy, and try to influence these voters before it's too late.
Because now, less than a month from Election Day, Youngman says candidates are in the business of reacting to each other's claims quickly and typically negatively.
People always say they really hate the negative advertising. Well, the dirty little secret is the reason campaigns use negative ads, they work.
Youngman points to this ad put out by McConnell's Senate committee. Really,
this started with Allison Lundergan Grimes' campaign hitting Mitch McConnell for missing committee meetings and things like that, when really his Senate attendance record is about 99%. And you've got Allison Lundergan Grimes, who's never missed a Board of Elections meeting, but her parking space sits empty every day. So really what you see is, they're both pointing one finger at each other while three fingers are pointing back at them.
Youngman says right now it's a back-and-forth game of reacting and getting your message out, like this one from Grimes.
What we saw in the skeet shooting ad was a really concerted effort by Allison Lundergan Grimes to put distance between herself and the president. At one point, she turns to the camera and she says, "I'm not Barack Obama." It's the most forceful she's been in trying to push that message, and the question becomes, did she do it too late?
Youngman says the saturation of ads won't stop, but believes they may stop getting results.
I'm not sure that at some point it doesn't reach a point of diminishing returns.
Now, a non-scientific WKYT.com poll conducted last weekend found the majority of those responding said there is too much emphasis on coal as a political issue.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Now at 6:30, two people are recovering from gunshot wounds after an altercation at a Lexington apartment complex overnight. We'll have the details coming up. Plus, a Jessamine County police officer speaks out after being shot nearly 2 years ago. And a Lexington man is dead and a murder investigation is now underway. We have these stories and more, plus breaking news as it happens, coming up on WKYT this morning. Good Saturday morning to you. I am Whitney Wetzel.
And I'm Mike Linden. Whitney, you had mentioned before we got started here that Friday was beautiful. You took a walk outside.
It was
just a great day to spend some time outside. This morning, it's a lot cooler than where we were yesterday, and the afternoon will be that way as well. Looks like we'll just head back to the fall conditions here, with Defender really not showing us very much of anything early this morning. Could see a few showers later on, but nothing that would call today a washout by any stretch of the imagination. Temperature-wise, don't be deceived by that 57 over Lexington. It's actually closer to right around 55 degrees as we get started so far this morning, with Danville there at 46. So things are cooler, and the reason being is because of cold air sliding in from Canada, as a front could bring us a chance for some showers too. I'll break it down hour by hour coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, Mike, thanks. Two people are in the hospital this morning after a late-night shooting in Lexington, and investigators are now searching for the person responsible. WKYT's Mark Barber is live at the apartment complex where this all happened. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Whitney. Officers say while they were at UK Hospital with a man who was shot in the leg, another gunshot victim came in. I'm told that second victim, a woman, was also shot in the leg. Police believe they were both shot around 10:45 last night during an argument at an apartment complex on Winburn Drive, right across from Winburn Middle School. Police tell us while they were searching for a black SUV that may have been used in the shooting, they stopped a black Dodge Durango on Waller Avenue. We're told two men jumped out and ran. Investigators say one of them got away, but they did catch the other man. Officers believe they are connected to the shooting, but they tell us they are still looking for the shooter. Now, police say this shooting happened about a block away from another shooting that killed a 19-year-old man yesterday on McCullough Drive. Now, I'm told that police do not believe these two cases are connected. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. New this morning, Lexington police are on the lookout for two men who they say robbed a pizza delivery man. It happened just before 11 o'clock on Red River Drive. Police say a delivery man was driving down Red River when a man walked out in front of his car and another walked up alongside with a gun. Police say the men demanded cash from the driver and then took off. Right now, police only have a limited description of those suspects. Also new this morning, police say a Lexington man was injured in a home invasion overnight. It happened around midnight on Alexandria Drive. Police say two men knocked on a man's door, forced their way in, assaulted the victim, and took personal items from the home before they escaped. Investigators described the suspects as black men in their 30s, between 5'8" and 6 feet tall. They were both wearing black jackets. We are learning new information about a deadly shooting at a Lexington apartment complex. Lexington police have ruled the shooting a homicide. They say they found the victim dead this morning in an apartment complex along McCullough Drive in the Winburn neighborhood. The victim is a Lexington teenager, 19-year-old Jeffrey Adams. Because the investigation is being ruled a homicide, the coroner will not release where Adams was shot.
Whoever has done this knows where they shot him at, so that'll be a part of the police investigation that they'll be looking at.
If you have any information, you're asked to call Lexington Police. You can find their number on WKYT.com. We now know the name of a man killed in a crash in Scott County Friday afternoon. The crash happened along Cherry Blossom Way in Georgetown. The coroner says 27-year-old Edward Derek Kraft of Georgetown was killed. The Scott County coroner says Kraft's truck crossed the center line and hit two other trucks. Another person was also taken to UK hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Meanwhile, deputies say a Laurel County man accused of badly injuring a teenager in a crash has escaped home incarceration. The sheriff's office is looking for 47-year-old Terry Mullins. They say he left a home near London Friday afternoon. Last month, deputies say Mullins hit a 17-year-old cyclist with his van, and then he didn't stop. That teen suffered serious injuries but has since been released from the hospital. Mullins was on home incarceration charged with assault, leaving the scene of an accident, and DUI. A Southern Kentucky mother and father are demanding justice for their daughter. James and Brenda Helton say they're concerned about Johnny Ray Hendricks, the man accused of killing her. Hendricks pleaded not guilty to killing Monica Wells Friday morning. He's currently being held on a $500,000 bond. The Heltons say they don't want Hendricks out on bond because he might hurt someone else.
I want him locked away from now on. I don't want him out, and he will do this to somebody else.
Funeral arrangements for Monica Wells have been set for 11 Tuesday morning at the Southern Oaks Funeral Home in Somerset. Another murder suspect's mental competency was the subject of a hearing in Pulaski County yesterday. Clinton and Abnett is charged with killing Mark Stanziano, an attorney who took on numerous high-profile defense cases. His case was called because the prosecutor says the facility he was housed at was trying to administer a drug that could possibly make an Abnett competent to stand trial. First, the judge says the court needs to have a hearing to see if Abnett is competent, and then if he isn't, the court will decide if he can then be forced to take the medicine. Another hearing is set for December. 2 years ago this weekend, someone shot a Nicholasville police officer as he patrolled a neighborhood. Police say a bulletproof vest saved Officer John Rainey's life. He's since recovered, but police haven't been able to track down his shooter. Officer Rainey talked to WKYT's Sam Smith about the shooting and the search for the person responsible.
Chesapeake County 911, where is your emergency?
Someone is shooting a gun, like really close outside my back door.
Gunfire alarmed people in this Nicholasville neighborhood 2 years ago. One of those bullets hit Officer John Rainey.
I think God was definitely looking out for me.
Rainey was in the area on patrol that evening. He got out of his vehicle to check out a suspicious man walking behind a home. That man took off into a wooded area. Both Rainey and the suspect exchanged gunfire. Rainey was shot and the suspect got away.
The Kevlar saved my life that day. The bullet hit me right in the back, and from what it looks like it was almost directly behind the heart.
We have no idea who he is at this point in time.
The community also wants to see the shooter caught through donations. The reward for the arrest and conviction of the shooter is $25,000.
But we feel like here in Nicholasville that we do the best job that we can, and that the community enjoys and wants us to be around and works well with us.
Officer Rainey says it doesn't bother him to go back to Maple Leaf Lane, but it's an experience that will stay with him.
And I just hope one day they'll catch him.
In Nicholasville, Sam Smith, WKYT.
Police tell us the shooter will be charged with either first-degree assault or attempted murder of a police officer. A Lexington investor accused of scamming a client out of more than $1 million now faces more charges. Lexington police say more victims have come forward saying that Kenneth Thomas scammed them too. Police arrested Kenneth Thomas last month after an investigation into his company Retire America. We're told there are now more than 3 victims who have been scammed out of a total of $1.5 to $2 million. And police have also arrested the secretary at Retire America, Shannon Hurst, who they say knew what was going on.
I can't get into specifics, but what I will say is that she was someone at the business who had intimate knowledge of the details of what was going on, specifically the fraud, and in many ways she was complicit because she had particular responsibilities that she did not fulfill that amounted to theft.
Roberts says at this point there could be even more charges to come. She says it all depends on how many victims and how much money. If you're looking for some great family fun, you can head to the Explorium this weekend for the museum go-round. Today's event is a free family festival with all sorts of activities. There will be a recycled putt-putt course from Restore, plus musical entertainment and a place to make your own snowballs. The fun goes from 10 to 4 at Triangle Park. And as you may already know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. WKYT is once again teaming up with St. Elizabeth Healthcare to provide breast screenings. The St. Elizabeth Healthcare mobile mammography van will be at WKYT on Tuesday from 9:30 to 6:30. You can make an appointment by calling the number on your screen. Financial assistance is available to the uninsured thanks to a grant from Susan G. Komen Lexington.